Hang on then. Refresh it now. This is the issue we're having. Oh, Liz. Okay.
Oh, it says live, 5 seconds.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh dear. Hang on.
Okay, are we on now? I
Hang
think
on.
maybe we're on now. Okay, right.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Right. Well, we've been rabbiting on for about 15 minutes now. Okay. So, hi.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Do you want to just come back quickly over what we did? So we did.
Yes.
We didn't do much, to be fair.
Yeah, no, you haven't missed much. Okay, so has anybody heard anything at all?
No, I don't. We weren't
Nothing at
live.
all.
I think it's due to this issue because it wasn't streaming from OBS by the looks of it.
Well, that's very rude.
It is, but we're live now anyway.
Okay, well, hopefully you can all hear us now. So let's start right from the beginning again. Please
Yeah, me.
do excuse our many technical issues. We're still learning.
Well, we learned a lesson there. You should always be live when you're talking. It's pointless talking to yourselves. We just had a nice chat for about 15 minutes about social media and that, so that was alright.
Yeah, it's good.
That was alright.
That was just the rehearsal.
Nah, a quick rehearsal.
Yeah.
Bit of practice. So yeah.
Okay, so social media strategy. So this
Target audience. That where we started. No.
We need to go right.
Right.
But if they haven't heard anything, we need to go right back to the start.
So where were we? Okay, first.
Hang on. Hello.
Oh yeah, you didn't get a Dan Machiavelli or whatever. You've missed out. He came in before and started trying to bully us, but now he's gone.
Right.
Okay, so take it from the top, Ella.
Okay. If anyone did hear that, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to go over it again.
Yeah.
But if I don't think anyone heard anything, so that's fine. Okay, here we go. So social media strategy. This is the session for you if you wanna learn a little bit about using social media for marketing, for business purposes. Maybe you're freelance, or maybe you want to just make the most of your posts, getting them out onto social media and making sure more people see them. It's going to be more about strategically posting certain types of content at certain times on certain platforms, and hopefully this is going to be a bit of a general overview of some ideas and some guidelines that might be useful if you are thinking more about using social media for marketing or business purposes. So this isn't a be-all and end-all of everything. You might find that some of these things work better than others for you, because you're all going to have different reasons for using social media for business already. So, you know, what works for one person might not exactly work for you, and that's totally fine. There's going to be a few opportunities for you to make some notes and stuff like this through the session. Just little bits where we're going to get you to think about, say, your target audience or what your goals might be. In fact, that's the first thing we're going to talk about, your goals. So if you want to grab some paper or something to make notes with, that might be useful. So yes, if you want to post in the chat, say hi, you're very welcome to do so. If you've got any questions, we are monitoring the chat, so we'll try and get to those when we can. And so if you've got anything specific that you want answering, we'll get to those. And if you're already using social media for something, strategy-wise or whatever, feel free to pop that in the chat if you've got any ideas, anything else.
Yeah, any questions about the specific platforms and whether you think it's worth, you know, your time or effort. So obviously, like Alice says, you need to sort of make sure you're not just screaming into a void of just everything and sort of targeting a little bit more. Yeah,
anything at all, pop it in the chat and we'll get to it. If you want to follow us on our social media pages, they're all listed for you at the bottom. And if you want to get involved and join in a bit of a conversation with us or grab our attention, feel free to use our hashtag, #WeAreMediaSavvy, and we'll see it, and everyone else can too. So it'll help to find other posts that are relevant. So like I said, if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat or just say hi, and we'll get started again.
Yeah, again. try again.
So, the first thing I want you to think about is what are your goals? So your goals are what is going to inform the kind of content that you put out, the platforms that you're on. Like I was saying before, what works for one person won't work for another because there's a different reason for doing different things. So do you want to just see that more people actually see your posts? Do you want them to be more engaging, so you want more reactions, more comments, more shares on them? Do you want more people to like your social media pages? Do you want more people to go to your website? Do you want to increase the amount of inquiries or sales that you've had? All of these things are perfectly valid goals. So if you've got that pen and paper handy or somewhere else to make notes, just take a few minutes now and maybe jot down a few things that you know that you really want to do, because
yeah, so if it's like things like creating a portfolio, or it's things like you've got a page where you want to start, maybe advertising things that you sell, or if it's like I say, just a bit more, you might want to start creating like more artwork that you want to promote just for yourself, just as a hobby. It could
anything
even be,
at all. Any goals count as long as they are achievable and they're measurable, because what you want to do is you want to see how you're doing now and how you're doing maybe in a month's time or a few months' time, a year's time, for when you change things, so that when you test things you know whether it's actually working or not. Because if you're not able to measure it, you won't know if it's actually a success or not. So if you know that you've got 10 likes on your Facebook page right now and you want to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, that's measurable and it's achievable. But if you don't know that, if you don't know how you're doing already, and you're not monitoring throughout, you won't know whether what you're doing is actually helping to increase that, if you know what I mean. So having an idea about what your goals are right from the start helps you to inform what kind of content that you're putting out and where you're putting it out to. So there's a few suggestions up there already. Feel free to come up with your own. As long as it's achievable and measurable, that's totally fine. So
and you can even use it as a test, so you can test it with things that you post, like I say, things like artwork, things like that.
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily have to be for a business, but you could test it as though it was, putting stuff out at different times to see, well, okay, if I put it out at this time, it'll get more traction at that time, or less traction if I post it earlier, depending on what it is and how you're doing it and stuff.
These things are all, you can monitor them all by the tools that are available to you within social media sort of platforms anyway. Facebook has them, Twitter has them, Instagram has them. They've all got them, so you can see and compare between posts. So for example, you could compare a post that has an image with it and a post that has a video with it, and you can see which one's done better, stuff like that. But one thing to note as well, when you are changing things, just change one thing at a time, because then you'll know whether it's that's made a difference. So don't say post a picture at 8 o'clock in the morning and then a video at 8 o'clock in the evening, because you can't compare those different things, because you don't know whether it's the time that you've posted or the kind of content that you've put out that's made the difference. So just change one thing at a time, but we'll get further into that. So yeah, if you want to pop anything in the chat, if you're unsure about whether your goal's suitable or not, feel free to drop that in and we'll have a look. Or if you just want to share them with some others in the chat.
There's the coffin door again. I think that might be some chocolate by the looks of it. Oof. Oh. We're getting spoiled.
Wow. Okay, so yes, goals. So where was I up to?
You're distracted by chocolate now.
I was distracted by chocolate. And I can't remember if the things that I've said this time and the first time I said them.
No, I think we're up. It's fine.
I think we're up to it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. So.
Yeah, this is right. You're fine.
So, like I was saying, the kind of content that you put out is important, but also where you're putting it is important. You don't need to be on every social network, and in fact you shouldn't be. If you are, and you're putting the same kind of content out at the same level of intensity on every platform, you're probably spreading yourself a bit too thin. And you're probably not aiming your content at the right people all of the time. For example, your target market isn't going to be on every platform in the same way. So choosing 2 or 3 main platforms with one as a real main focus is the way to go. So we use Facebook quite a lot as our main platform, because most of our service users are going to be on Facebook. It's a really universal platform. There's a lot of different features in there that are really useful, and I'll cover it a little bit more later. And Facebook might be the platform for you, but it might not be for somebody else. So it's really important to be thinking about those goals constantly in order to decide whether what you're doing is actually useful or not. You know, the audience that's on Facebook is definitely not the same audience on Twitter or LinkedIn, for example. So it's really important that you're thinking about the goals already and stuff like that. So, which social network is right for you? We'll be talking a little bit about that next, but I just want to briefly talk about blogs.
Just want to double check something.
Yeah.
Might be having an audio issue.
Maybe experiencing some technical difficulties. Please talk among yourselves.
I think this might just be an internet problem. I'm just going to stop some of the processes running on this laptop.
Okay.
So I think this might be using the internet a little bit. If it's cutting out, guys, it might be on our end, because I think Lisa's just messaged to say it was cutting out a little bit. I'm just checking the stream now, because YouTube normally tells you when it's cutting out, and I think as of 3 minutes ago something cut out. It might have been the audio, so it might have gone quiet for a little bit. I'm just going to stop. There's a couple of things running on a couple of other computers in the office. I'm just going to stop them from doing that. Just give me a second. So that's no longer downloading. Okay.
I feel like we need like a automated voice saying like, we apologise for any technical difficulties.
Like an air raid siren, just to add some more pressure to it.
I don't think I need any extra pressure, thanks.
Yeah, true. We
How's it
might,
doing?
if it's going to keep doing it, you might have to restart the stream.
Okay.
But we'll see. So hang on, let me just stop that. Okay, we'll crack on for another couple of minutes and we'll monitor how it goes.
Yeah.
Let me just double check on OBS. It's saying here, because that isn't, sometimes that will be particularly high and that might start doing it. Let's turn the mic up a little bit. We didn't change any of the settings in there either, did we, on audio? I wonder if we maybe might want to restart it, but turn the like the sample rate down a bit, so it'll probably reduce the quality, but it might be a bit easier to go. Take and upload it. Okay, right, we'll try again. So where were you up to? Sorry, my bad. Because I'm listening to the preview now, and it just seems alright.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just keep updating us in the chat.
Yeah. So if you guys can just keep a little monitor on that. I've stopped pretty much every process on the computer apart from that. So hopefully it'll run smoother now. Yeah, Ella, if you just want to sort of crack on and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, so yes, blogging. Okay, so this isn't going to be the main focus of this session, but it's just something that might be relevant to some of you. If you do want a session that's more based on blogging, feel free to let us know. But just as a little note, having a blog on your website can be really, really useful. And if you write in content for your blog on your website, you can break those bits of content down into other chunks that are more suitable for different social media platforms. So if you're writing like a 300 word post for your blog with some images and a video, you could maybe take some snippets of that for your social media content, you know, take a 280 character snippet for Twitter, stuff like that, and that might be useful. It's, you know, it could save you a bit of work in the long run. You don't have to be making brand new content for every social network. But having a blog on your website is really good. It helps to update your website and gives you more content. It's really useful for SEO or search engine optimization. Again, we're not going to be having that as the main focus of this session. But
so in our rehearsal stream, what I'd said was that there's a bunch of different options. There is some free blogging tools out there, the likes of WordPress. You can have a free blog, and if it's a personal thing, tends to be you'll be all right with not having like a professional URL. Whereas if it's a business, you'd have like your business name.co.uk, and then you might have a blog on there. So basically with that, having a free blog is fine, especially for things like portfolios. A lot of artists have like a free version of a blog because obviously they can't necessarily afford to pay someone to build them a website or have the time to do it themselves. We can cover website stuff in its own sort of sessions, probably, I'm imagining, a bit easier to do so. But just to be aware, it's all part of your social media strategy.
Yeah.
Part of it, you can use it to drive traffic to your website, which has like blog posts on, or like sign up forms if you want them to get involved with a particular project that you're managing, even if it's like a voluntary thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be for business use. It can be all community based or personal based. And
definitely. So yes. Not the main focus of this session, but something to definitely be aware of and something to definitely think about as a good starting point. So yes, like I said, might be relevant to some of you, might not be for others, but yeah, do let us know if that is something that you're interested in for future sessions. Okay, so choosing the right platform. So like I was saying before, you don't need to be on every social network, and you shouldn't be. So how do you find out which is the right one for you? Well, the first thing you should be doing is identifying your target audience. So if you want to whip out your notebook or your paper and pen or whatever,
could be your phone.
Yeah, anything at all you want to make some more notes on, here's your next note making opportunity. So just start thinking about these questions and answer them if you can. So just like in real life, people who are older and people who are younger don't necessarily hang out in the same places, so don't expect to find them in the same places online. So if you're trying to reach old people, they're probably not going to be in the same places as young people, so try and think about that. Where is your target audience based? Are you trying to reach a global audience? Are you trying to reach the local community? Stuff like that. So that might inform which platform you need to be on.
Or do you just want to hit as many people as you can?
Yeah.
As well. That's also one. It's quite good because you'll know yourself if it's a specific project who the target audience are. It helps to be sort of personally invested in them. So if it's a reading group, for example, that you know you want to get isolated members of the community involved with, you know that what the isolated groups are, and this will inform you on how to help get that information to them. I was going to say target them, but then it sounded a bit weird, like you were going to sort of go after them. It's not quite as sinister as that. You're helping them, not targeting them.
Targeting them to help them.
But in terms of like your social media strategy, targeting them just means you're putting that information their way.
Yes. So one group of people is not going to be necessarily in the same place as another with that likes the same kind of content. So are they a consumer or a business? So they might not be necessarily buying something from you, but if they're your service user or somebody that's likely to invest in your work or your service or product, blah, 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 that's a consumer. Or are you trying to aim at another business? Maybe they're bigger than you and you want some help from them. Maybe you want to access some funding. Maybe you want to try and get noticed by a bigger business to kind of sign you or something
work
like
in
that.
partnership with them to deliver, you know, anything. Could be like I say, a small community group. You might have a voluntary organisation you work as part of. That you want to tap into other people's services. Being online and on social media is a good way to get you a bit of recognition, so that they can check you out, and make sure you know they've done like their vetting process and they can get a bit more information on you. Say if you've got meetings and stuff, or you want to pitch something to them. Could be something like you putting work up in an exhibition. Could be something like a joint voluntary project to help deliver food to food banks. So it could be anything. Basically.
Absolutely anything, but they're not all going to be in the same place.
No, definitely not.
What problems do they want solved? So that sounds like a really sort of a big
ominous question. Big one.
Yeah, but really it's not. Think about it as, if you're trying to reach a group of older people, but they feel like there isn't a place online for them to feel safe, or that they're in a community of people that are sort of accepting and have the same interests as them. Maybe they need that kind of space online, and you need to build that online community for them. So that would be a problem that would want to be solved. Or equally, if your product or service answers a question or a problem or whatever, then those kind of people want to see your kind of product, and you need to get it in front of the right kind of people. So it might sound like a big question, but just try and apply it to what it is that you're saying or delivering or etc. And what content do they want to see? Are you an artist and you want to reach other artists? They probably want to see images. Artists don't want to read things. They just want to look at pretty pictures. I know these things.
Speaking as an artist.
Speaking as a creative visual artist.
A visionary in the artistic field. I might sound like I'm a bit close at the mic. It's just because I'm moving some stuff around.
Okay.
So there we go. Ooh. I'm going to put that on the top. There's a gap. There we go.
Wonderful.
Lisa's at home having a bit of a cry about where the banner is. So there you go, Lisa.
Sorry.
Consider that your birthday present and your Christmas present, because I'm not doing anything else for you.
It's because the presentation was already made
before
the banner. I'm sorry.
Rude Ella. Once again. But yeah, there you go.
This is very last
minute. Now the banner's on the top, so there you go. That's a special treat for everyone.
Fine. Okay.
The audio doesn't work, but the banner's on the top, so there you go.
Okay. So yes, hopefully you've made some notes about those kind of questions, and you're a little bit more clued up on who your target audience is and what they want to see.
And if you're not, just have it as something to think about going forward as well. Like, there's a lot of stuff Ella's prepared today which you might not have even thought about, which is fine. That's the whole point.
Yeah. It's just to get you to start thinking. So. There we go. So that's our blog if you want to see it, but you probably can't because it's on a website that's down. So
under development, not down.
Sorry.
Under continuous and stringent development.
Under construction.
Yeah.
Reconstruction.
Reconstruction. It's gonna look nice, basically.
Yeah. So that's some examples of the kind of posts that we put out. So they're things that we think our target audience might be interested in. So we did a bit on International Day of Happiness, 6 ways to be happier, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We have a big focus on mental health here, so we think that might be something that people would genuinely want to read. For all that you are trying to access a target audience and you do have goals and things, the content that you put out should actually be interesting and something that people actually want to see.
Yeah.
It should be honest
engaging
and engaging and all of those things. So try and think about what it is that they actually want to see and get involved with. We did a feature on Black History Month where we featured some really famous and interesting black people from history, and it's really good to get involved with things that are trending, stuff like that. So if you do want to get involved in things like Black History Month or International Women's Day, stuff like that, if you can find a link with your business or your
project or your idea or whatever it is,
then it can be a really useful way for you to get involved in big conversations and for people to see things that might be interesting to them because they want to find out about that too.
And it might not necessarily be something, you know, it might not be your project, it might just be something you're involved with, and now if you've got this sort of knowledge, you know, this is something you can look at to bring to the table. You know, if you're volunteering or you're working, and you can bring in ideas around managing the social media and having a bit more strategy to it than just hoying posts out there left, right and centre, like making sure you get involved and you've got to get the message out there, and this is the best way to do it, basically.
But at the same time, don't just get involved with like random days that have nothing to do with your project or whatever. I'm trying to think of like a really random
I don't know, there'll be like chocolate fudge cake day, which, you know, get involved by eating a chocolate fudge cake, but maybe just don't post about it all the time on social media.
Don't be like, do you love chocolate fudge cake? Check out my product. Like it's unless it's chocolate fudge cake.
Unless it's explicitly.
Then that works.
Something
you know?
That should sort of be relevant to what your idea or project is.
If you're a bakery, go for it.
Yeah.
But if
you're doing like caricatures of people, maybe not.
But try and think a little bit outside the box as well. We do all of our own illustrations and stuff for our social media posts. For one, it means that we're not using copyrighted images.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that we also do offer commercial work, and illustration's part of that package. So if other people who stumble across our work might say, oh, I could definitely use an illustration like that for my thing, like this, then those kind of other little things help to, you know, they might catch another kind of audience on the way, if you know what I mean. So, and because we do have such a focus on art and creativity here, we think it's really important to carry on our branding throughout, and just so that our posts are visually as engaging and exciting as we can possibly make them. So there's quite a lot that goes into that one post that can be beneficial to your various target audiences. You don't have to just have one target audience. For example, our service users and people who might commission us to do illustration work might be two different people, but we're sort of targeting both of them at the same time within one blog post. So just try and think a little bit outside of the box. So that's kind of what they look like in situ. And so that's what it looks like on our blog, and then we take bits of that for our social media channels. So things that were on the blog, that's a little condensed version for Facebook that's on there with the same illustration in full, and it links to our blog, which also in turn drives traffic to our website, where people can see our other services and other things on our website. So that is one useful way of getting people to go to your website. So there's a few different sort of goals and aims for that one particular post. So just try and keep them all in mind as you are posting. So going back to that blog, why should you have a blog? Updates your website regularly, so it makes you more likely to appear on Google's first page, which is really good for SEO. It increases your brand awareness, so just helping your brand get out there. Connecting with your customers and service users, you can really tailor your content exactly to your sort of channel and stuff like that. Can help you be seen as an expert in your field, so if you're posting research and things that you might have done, or you're doing tutorials and stuff like that, that can help you to be seen as an expert. You could educate people, like I was saying with those tutorials or whatever, promote sales, build online communities, so if you've got something really interesting that people actually want to come back and read or see, then that's exactly what you want to be doing this for. Gives you plenty of content to repurpose, so once you've written one blog post, you might get 10 social media posts out of it if you're lucky. And really, there's no reason not to if you've got the time. How often should you blog? As often as you can, really. But 2 to 3 times a week is sort of recommended. But that might be a little bit ambitious for starting off.
As a start point, probably not realistic.
So, once a week, once every 2 weeks, that would be great. And there's a few ideas on there for what you can post about. Those kind of things go for other content on your social media channels as well as on your blog. So news and updates, behind the scenes things, they're usually pretty fun.
So any of you guys doing any creative stuff, the behind the scenes stuff's really good. So even if it's like you're physically making something, like if you're doing crafts and stuff, doing little videos about, oh, okay, this is how you do it, and this is the materials I use, and this is normally how long it takes, and explaining your process, like if it's drawn or if it's digital drawn or if it's digital artwork, like deconstructing it a little bit as well can be really good. So you might just have an Instagram where you've posted all your pictures and stuff, and you do your different hashtags and stuff. But then you might also have a little blog post or even a YouTube video, whatever it is, a bit of content around it that's taking them through the process of you doing it and deconstructing how you've created it and that.
So let's talk about Facebook. So here are some things to think about for Facebook. So if these things that I'm saying about Facebook are kind of making you think about your target audience, then maybe Facebook is the platform for you. So it's the biggest social media platform, so it's got more people on it than most others, the biggest range of different types of people. Pretty much everyone's on Facebook, everyone from your gran to your 13-year-old
cousin.
Yeah, cousin.
Or neighbour or whatever.
Whatever.
So someone will add you and you'll think, who's that? And then you'll be like, oh yeah, it's them from down the road.
Well, pretty much everyone's on Facebook. There's a huge variety of different people on Facebook. It's great for business to consumer and is the best platform for people over 55. They're more likely to be on Facebook than any other platform. So if your audience is over 55, then Facebook's probably the platform for you to focus on. Facebook supports images, videos, text, link sharing. So if you've got quite a big variety of content that you put out on social media, then Facebook's a really good place for that. So it's really good for us. We have a lot of different kinds of content, so Facebook supports all of that. You can track how your posts are doing, so you can see how many people are reaching, or how many people are liking your posts and stuff like that. You can target specific demographics using advertising to reach more people. I won't be talking about advertising, like paid advertising, in this session, because it's like a whole...
Its own thing.
Yeah, it's a whole...
Another can of worms for you.
Yeah. So everything that we'll be talking about you can do for free in this session. But you can target specific people. But if you want to use Facebook ads, it's best that you know exactly who it is that you want to reach.
And I think you need to be careful with it as well. The reason it's probably its own session is because sometimes you can spend quite a bit of money and it doesn't go very far if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
In terms of who you're targeting and why.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do it, be very careful with how much you spend.
Yeah.
And maybe wait until we can put together some guidance for that.
Yeah. So on Facebook, everyone has their own personal profile, and you can use this to manage multiple pages and groups. So you might have your own personal profile, but you might also be the admin of a Facebook page. For example, everyone on the Media Savvy team is an admin on the Media Savvy Facebook page, as well as having their own personal account. You don't have to have lots of personal information on your profile, and you can use privacy settings to make your profile as private as you wish. That's something to definitely consider if you are using social media for business, and it might be worth having a separate personal and separate business page if you are going to be doing that. So most of us here at Media Savvy have both, I believe, personal and business ones.
Especially for Facebook,
yeah.
Other accounts not so much, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's something to think about. I read recently that more than half of all potential employers check your Facebook page before hiring somebody.
Something like that. Something similar.
I think it's like 80% or something.
Yeah, it's quite high.
And again, I think it's more than half have rejected people due to what's on their Facebook profile.
Yeah.
So be really careful about what it is that you're posting on there. So like I was saying, if you do want to have a more business oriented Facebook presence, it's a really good idea to have a business account.
Yeah.
So
like in a page rather than your account as well, because I think that's the other common pitfall.
Yes.
People fall into.
We'll talk about that a little bit soon. So a lot of people ask the differences between pages and groups. If you're not sure which is for you, feel free to post a little bit about what your project is and stuff in the chat, and we'll let you know.
And again, it's possibly something you haven't thought about, so it might be good to get that idea in your head. If in the future you want to set something up, you can do.
Yeah.
Should be fairly easy.
Generally, without speaking to people or without seeing the sort of real details of projects, if you are using it for business, I would generally recommend a page rather than a group, just because it gives you like a sort of corporate, I use that in inverted commas. I did do the thing with, but you can't see it obviously.
Yeah, you did the flying out inverted commas.
Yeah, but so if you do want to have a sort of voice for your organisation or your brand or whatever, having a page is a really good way to do that. But again, we'll get further into that a little bit later on. So why we use Facebook at Media Savvy. So pretty much all of our content goes on Facebook in some form of because it does support it all, like I was saying. You can have videos on there, pictures, whatever. It's pretty well supported. It does drive traffic to our website when it's not under construction. Which we do especially using our blog. So we make a blog article, post it on our social media channels, people go and check it out, and then look around the rest of our website. It's a good way to interact with both learners and other providers. There's a real community feel to Facebook. It is particularly good for accessing people who might want to use your services. It can be both formal and informal, so it's not like LinkedIn that's very businessy.
Yeah.
Because if your company's a little bit more light-hearted or whatever, Facebook might be better for you. It supports all kinds of content, like I was saying. We create events for our courses on there, so Facebook's got a built-in events calendar, which is really, really useful. So there are 2 events on there for both of our sessions today, if you want to check those out and see what events look like. And you get a lot of control over those. We can then embed that sort of events box from Facebook onto our website, which saves us a bit of time. It means that we can make an event on Facebook and then it goes straight to our website instead of making an event on Facebook and an event on our website.
And that's the sort of the repurposing of content you were talking about, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, it's a little bit it's a bit easier for you guys, especially if you're doing it on your own or there's only a couple of you doing it. It makes it a lot easier to schedule and a lot easier to place in multiple places. So website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is, you can sort of, once you've created that content, it can go out across your different platforms.
Yep. So we use it as well for campaigns, like I was saying, like Black History Month, one-off days, International Women's Day, or Time to Talk Day, stuff like that, Mental Health Awareness Week, stuff like that. All of those things are usually on Facebook as well. Posting series of videos that we can then send people to our YouTube channel for as well. It's good for contacting learners past and present. So if you're looking for like survey responses, or if you want to get some feedback on what you're doing, or if you want to just generally make sure that people are doing okay, Facebook's a really good place to do that. And we really like sort of celebrating the achievements that our learners have done, because they're all fantastic, and it's a really good place to showcase those. So if you're in a similar place and you know, maybe if you've got another community organisation or something like that, and your learners are doing some fantastic work, Facebook's a great place to showcase it, because it's likely that they're there, so they can see it and they can see what other things that learners like themselves are getting up to. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about a page. So a page is not a personal page, but it works in a similar sort of way. It's for usually like an organisation, a company, or a public figure, etc. So there is a media savvy page. Admins control the page, like I was saying. All of the media savvy team are admins on the media savvy Facebook page. There's no individuals on there, so say if Hatham made a status as the media savvy page and then I made one, it wouldn't say Hatham says this and then Ella says this. It would just say media savvy both times. Yeah. So it kind of works in a similar way to a personal profile, but it's just the organisation is saying that instead of you, if you know what I mean. You can still post within the page or on the page or comment as an individual, like as an individual and stuff, but the page kind of has one voice, if you will. Yeah.
So it's always consistent. It's never posted by individuals. It's always posted by the brand or the overall page itself.
Yeah. So you can make posts and share things in a similar way to a personal profile, tag others, and others can tag your page as well, which is really useful. So if you've got other things that you want to tag or whatever, then you can do that. And it's just really useful to be able to be tagged as an organisation. You can check the analytics of a page to see how well your posts are doing. So that's really, really important. So you can see whether your post was a success, how many people saw it, how many people have liked it, how many people have shared it, all of that stuff. That's all available on your Facebook page. You can pay for advertising, like I was saying, but just be careful with it. People can message the page to communicate with the admins, but it won't say, like, again, the similar way to like making a post, it won't say Hatham's replied to you or whatever. It just says media savvy. It's always public, so you can't, so for example, a group, you can have like a private group or an invite only thing, but pages are always public, so anyone can find a page. You can schedule posts, and that is really, really valuable and really important. So if you weren't already aware of this, you could spend an hour writing and scheduling all of your posts for the week ahead in one go, and it saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
So you don't
time and tears as well.
Yeah.
And everything starts going wrong.
So if you say, for example, a good use for this is, say if you're reaching a global audience and you know that your target market is based in America, the time zone is obviously very different. It means that you don't have to get up at 4 a.m. to make a post that everybody's going to see in America. It means that you can schedule it exactly for when you want it to post, and you can do that from the comfort of your own home at any time. So it's really, really useful. And you can create events as a Facebook page as well. So like I was saying, there is an events calendar and an events feature as a page, and you can check what events that page has got going on. So if you want to have a look at that, just head to our Facebook page and you can have a little look around. So a Facebook group, it's not a personal page. Again, it's for an organisation, a company, a public figure, or might be for an area or a concept or an interest or something like that. It's a group or a forum for people to make conversations, so individuals have their own posts within the group. So if you were in our stream this morning, you might have seen us talking about terrible art in charity shops,
yeah.
Which is one of my favourite groups. And the idea of that is people see terrible art in a charity shop, they take a picture and they post it so that everybody in the group can see it.
Some would say they're doing the Lord's work, but that's just some people.
I would say so.
Mainly me.
I would say so. But that individual, their name will come up next to that post, and individuals can like and can comment and stuff like that. It's not like the voice of the group, if that makes sense. So there are individuals within that group. There are moderators, and they can control content, and rules can be set up and stuff like that. So, you know, if somebody's posting things that are against group rules, moderators can remove it. You can have a thing where you can put the settings on the group to all posts have to be reviewed by a moderator before they're actually posted within the group. So all those things are possible. Has multiple layers of privacy. So you could have a public group that anyone can join, or you might have a closed group, or you might have a private group. So it might be invite only, or you might have to apply to join it. So Terrible Art in charity shops, you have to apply to join the group. So anyone can join, but it's not approved immediately.
Yeah.
So something like that. So there are multiple layers of privacy for that. It does have a built-in events calendar, and you can schedule posts if you're a moderator. So a good use for a Facebook group might be, say, if you're a community organisation and you've got, say, I don't know, a knitting group that meet on a Tuesday evening, and they want to chat about knitting and other things within the group. They might set up their own knitting group on Facebook, where it might be invite only, or you've got to apply to join it, and there might be 5 or 10 people in it, and they can share things that might be interesting to them. And so maybe Beverly's saying, check out this great knitting pattern, and Denise is like, I love that, I'm going to investigate that further. Or maybe a moderator for the group, maybe from the community organisation that knitting group's part of, they might say, there might be an announcement that they could put within the group, it's not on next Tuesday, something like that. So that would be quite a good use for a group. Or I've seen groups on Facebook where people post old photos from certain areas and things like that. So they're really good uses for groups. Whereas Facebook pages I would recommend more for if you do have a brand or an organisation or a company or something like that. I tend to find that a page is more applicable, really. But like I said, if you're not sure about which one's for you, just pop a little bit of information into the chat and we'll try and take a look for you. Or if anyone has any other questions, of course, that's totally fine. So to help you narrow it down a little bit further, do you need it to be private? If you do, it's got to be a group, because remember, pages are always public. Is it for group discussion? So maybe if it is, a group might be more appropriate. Yeah. Do you need to have multiple voices? So do you need a few people to post? If so, again, that's a group. Do you need to monitor how well your posts are doing? If so, that's got to be a page. So if you need to see how many people have liked that or seen that, it's got to be a page. So that should help you to work out whether you need a group, a page, or maybe both. So
yeah, depends on how you're going to be interacting with people and how they're going to be interacting with you, sort of thing. So
definitely
just gauge it, but you'll know your group and you'll know what your project is. So they're the options, and you can go from there, sort of thing.
So it goes back to you thinking about your goals and your target audience. So just check back with your notes that I'm sure you've all made. So here's a few examples of the kind of things that we post on our Facebook. So we post a jobs board every week, and we just put out a little bit of information on the jobs and a link to where you can apply. And we made the image as well from copyright-free images that is always posted with it. It's always the same image, so people can recognise it straight away. It's always posted at the same time of the week, so people know what day to expect it on, and it usually does pretty well, because it's something that's really useful, something that benefits our service users, and yeah, hopefully gets a few shares things like that.
Yeah, it does. It's quite a decent amount of engagement, and it's. And again, that's we know to put it out there because we get people that need that sort of information coming to do the courses from time to time as well. So we know that it's a continuous source as well.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily directly what we do. We don't provide people with employment opportunities or whatever, but it's part of the service that we provide.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be something that we directly do.
No.
We're not an employment agency, but we still it's embedded in the projects that we run.
Yeah. So that's a little snippet of what some events might look like. So that can be really useful. Again, if you're a community organisation that puts on a few different sessions or whatever, or anything like that. And that's how it used to appear on our website before it went under construction.
Yeah, that's what it will look like.
But that's just an example of how it might be embedded, so it saves us a bit of time. And that's us when we posted a survey, when we were looking for some feedback, and it did really well, and people were really helpful. So, so it's a good place to get information from a variety of different people on there. And there's a couple of posts of us celebrating learners that have taken part in our courses and have gotten their certificates, because it's just nice, We're really proud of our learners, and we're really proud of everything that they've done, and it's nice to get a bit of recognition for doing definitely. Something good. So, and a little bit of stuff that's a little bit more fun. So there's our beloved Diego again. And that was for National Pet Day. So if you can get involved in a day, even if it's a bit silly, then you can. And it's always good to post pictures of yourselves, really, especially for a sort of a community sort of company, really, where you all get to know us as tutors and as people. It's nice to kind of appear once in a while, really.
Yeah.
So, but if you find that a certain kind of post does well for you, so usually if we post a picture of Diego, or if there's a picture of a few of us, they tend to do quite well, because people are invested in those things and actually care about those things, which is lovely. But it's also good to know, if you know what I mean. So if you find something that really works for you, then you can do that. So we also share things from our YouTube, and we also share things from our Instagram page as well on there. So that's some of the examples of kind of things that we post on Facebook for, and some of those things might work for you as well. So feel free to keep those in mind, or some of them you might just think that's not going to work for me at all, and that's totally fine as well. Okay, so let's talk about Twitter. What time are we on?
14:15. So 2:15. Up to you. If you want to have a little break now.
Should we maybe have a little break then?
Yeah, could do.
Yeah, we'll have a little break, and then we'll get back to talking about Twitter, I think, if that's cool. Unless anyone's got any questions, of course. How's the chat doing?
Alright, so far.
Everyone, have you been ignoring the chat?
No, I've been checking it. Just everyone's seems to be getting on alright, I think.
Okay, good.
It's obviously taking notes frantically. Writing down, scribbling away.
Right. Well, we'll have a little break, I think. Like 5-10 minutes or something.
10, 12.
Because I think our schedule is way off now.
That happened this morning, lad.
Yeah.
And then I had a nice 20-minute break where we were just saying nothing to no one. So
yes, we're going to have a little break for a little bit. So if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat and we'll get to them when we get back. And we're going to talk about Twitter next. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes or 10.
Yeah. Cool.
Hello. I think we might be back, but I'm not 100% sure. After all the technical issues we've had so far, hard to tell. So, yeah, just pop things in the chat if you are experiencing any technical difficulties on our part. So we're gonna get back and start talking about Twitter. So
creep back into the room.
To
the creepy door.
So yes, Twitter. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, so Twitter is really good for connecting with a global audience. So if you want to speak to people who are somewhere else in the world, or if you've got a really big target audience or whatever, Twitter's a great place to do that. It does tend to have a intellectual fail. Again, I did like the inverted commas thing.
Intellectual. Yeah. Depending on what part of Twitter you go to, that is.
That is true, but I do think it's a little bit more formal than Facebook as a whole. So yes, it's great for immediate updates, news, and current affairs. So if you're gonna be releasing updates quickly, and or you're doing anything that's kind of timely, then it's really good for those kind of things. Or if you're getting involved in conversations or things that are trending right now, then Twitter's a great place to do that. It's really easy to get involved with conversations on Twitter. It's pretty much a platform dedicated entirely to conversations and discussions.
Yeah, it's a discussion-based platform. I would say that's a fair summarization.
So if you're mainly, just going to do short updates and things like that, it's a good place for you. But it does support images, video, text, and link sharing, but it's not really what it's made for, and it's not the best at doing any of those, I would say.
It compresses your footage and things like that pretty heavily.
So, if you are mainly image based, perhaps Twitter's not the best place for you. Or maybe you want to use it as kind of a backup, maybe not as your main.
Yeah, you don't want that to be the main place you put out any content that you want to be high resolution.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Especially if you do any video stuff, there's limits on how long the videos can be and what quality they can be as well.
Yeah. You can track how your posts are doing, so you can see how many people that they're reaching on there, all of that stuff. So it does have all of those same kind of insights or analytics features that Facebook has. So like I said, it's a text-based platform, and hashtags form a big part of this platform and were created for Twitter. So if you want to get involved with things, particularly hashtags that are trending, Twitter is a really good place. So all those kind of days or weeks, with a theme or whatever that I've been mentioning before, they're a really good place to post anything relevant to that, because they are categorized really well using hashtags. So we use Twitter not as our main platform, but we do use it. It directs people to our website or our other social media channels. It's really good for quick updates and news, so like reminders about courses, things like that. It's great for, but it's not the best for putting out, say, a lot of information about the courses. So it's good to have that kind of stuff elsewhere that people can look at or be referred to. Like I was saying, we use it for posting about trending events or International Day of whatever. It's good for seeing what other organisations are up to. It's really good for B2B or business to business.
Yeah.
So like I said, a lot of organisations, people with opinions, etc. are on Twitter. If you want to appeal to funders, or if you want to get noticed by things like that, then Twitter's a really good place for that. You can easily grab people's attention by using their Twitter handle or using a hashtag that they maybe use a lot. So for example, our hashtag We Are Media Savvy, we'll be checking that regularly, so if you want to grab our attention with that, you can do. A lot of people or businesses use their sort of tagline as a hashtag. For example, just off the top of my head, like Nike use Just Do It as a hashtag.
Definitely.
Stuff like that. And it's we also use it to link to other channels and stuff. But like I was saying, it's a good place for getting in touch with other businesses, organisations.
Yeah, reaching out to anyone who you think would be, you know, interested or could possibly promote to. Yeah. Especially on the business side of things or organisation side of things.
Yeah. And because Twitter is like a global platform, it's not controlled by... So, for example, on Facebook, you pretty much choose who, you know, the content that you see from, and a lot of the people on Facebook will be people that you know or are likely to come into contact with. Twitter is not necessarily like that.
Your searches are even dictated to that as well. A lot of the time on Facebook, they'll show you content based on location, who's your friend, what pages you've liked and stuff. Whereas Twitter's a little bit more open in that way. Like you search for something, it just shows you the majority of the most popular results for whatever you've searched for.
Yep.
So if it's things like, you know, digital artwork, it'll show you the most popular digital artwork on that platform or hashtag or whatever it is that you've clicked on.
Yep. So I get this question quite a lot when we talk about social media. What is a hashtag? A hashtag is basically just a keyword used to group and categorise posts. It's as simple as that. So don't overthink it. It's just used to categorise things. I think it was this morning when we were talking about different events and things that might have certain hashtags. Was it this morning or was it this afternoon?
Was probably it earlier? Just still this morning. Just
I can't remember. But you know, if you're at an event or a conference or something, you might have a specific hashtag for that. Or like I was saying, we have a specific hashtag that we're really pushing at the moment. So they're usually unique to a certain...
Like an event, so you might live tweet an event that you're at, if it's like a specific conference.
Yep.
Or if it's a specific, like it might be a weekend, like a festival, like you say, like a music festival.
Or the Olympics, you know, stuff like that.
If you want to join the discussion on something like a live event that's happening, could be like a football game or a sporting event or like an event on the TV.
Yep.
Like where they'll encourage you to use the hashtag and join that discussion around it.
Yeah.
Because then they can see that as well. It can be a TV show, it can be like a live results show, it could be a sporting event, it could be anything like that. And obviously if you're hosting events, you can do something on a smaller scale but with a similar idea.
Yep.
So you get people to share their experiences and start a discussion around that event or that topic, whatever it happens to be.
Yep. So I'll show you some examples of sort of things that we use Twitter for. So that's one of our International Women's Day posts. So we posted an image that we've made and linked people to our blog. So that drives traffic to our website and means that we can hashtag International Women's Day, and hopefully other people who might be interested in that might see our post and then maybe would check out our website. We can sort of direct our posts at people. So we did a feature for Sunderland People First called We Are All Citizens, and it featured some people with autism. So we hashtagged when it was Autism Awareness Week and Autism Awareness Day because it was topical and interesting, and so if you're looking for that kind of content, you know, it's good to get involved with relevant and interesting content that happens on those days. So that's an example of that. Is anyone using Twitter already or anything like that, or anyone really like Twitter? Feel free to pop that in the chat.
Yeah, anything you've found Twitter useful for would be good to know. Or if you haven't, if you don't know what Twitter's useful for.
If you don't like Twitter as well, feel free to say so.
It's not, like Ella was saying, it's not a very social media really. It's a bit more in the professional, more worldwide sort of setting.
Yeah, I would say so. So, should we talk about Instagram?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep an ear on the sound.
Okay.
So.
Or have we got anything interesting in the chat that
not as of yet.
Needs to be addressed.
Not yet, but I'll keep an eye on it.
Okie doke.
So yeah, have a little chat about Instagram, I guess.
Sure.
Just keeping. I'm just monitoring the sound for now.
Okie doke. So Instagram, it's an image/video based platform. So if you don't have a lot of images to post, or you find it hard to get images of things, if you know what I mean. So if a lot of your content's text based, Instagram's probably not for you. By that same logic, if you're promoting anything visual art, photography, that kind of stuff, Instagram's a perfect place for you. Or anything visual really, Instagram's great. It's got a really young target audience though, so it's mainly 18 to 29 year olds on Instagram. They make up 53% of everybody on Instagram, so that's quite a big percentage really. So if they're your target audience, you definitely want to be on Instagram. It doesn't support links except one in your profile. So say if you're posting an image and you're linking to something, it's not great to do that, but there are ways around it. Say if you've got like an online store, you can kind of hook that up with your Instagram and things like that. But if that's not applicable for you, then that's something to bear in mind. But if you're treating Instagram more as a portfolio or something like that, it's great. It's used in majority through a phone app or a mobile app, so it can't only be on desktop or whatever. It's just not great on desktop. You can't upload things from your desktop, so you pretty much have to have a device that is compatible with the Instagram app,
which I believe is anything mobile or tablet, as far as I know.
Thanks for that. It uses hashtags, and people tend to use quite a lot of hashtags on Instagram to help people find their posts. So, you know, for example, on Twitter you might see 2 or 3 at once, whereas on Instagram you can have up to 30 in one post.
Yeah.
You probably don't have to use 30, yeah, but it's common to see 10 in a post, if you know what I mean. You can track how your posts are doing, so you can see how many people that they're reaching if you change your profile to a business profile. To do that, you need to have a Facebook page as well, I believe.
What was that, sorry?
I think to have a business profile, I think you have to have a Facebook page connected.
I think so, yeah, because Facebook own Instagram, yes, now, so they've sort of, to make it business integrated, they've ran it through Facebook.
Yeah. But if you've got a Facebook page already, obviously that's not a problem for you, and can be time saving, because you can post on Instagram, and as you're posting, there's a little thing where you can hook it up to your Facebook, and it says, would you like to post to Facebook as well? So you can tick the little box, and when it posts, you can do that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to shift out of the way.
Okay.
Dan was saying the mic had gone a bit quiet, so I'm just going to twist that round a little bit. There we go. Should be alright.
Hopefully that's okay. You can use advertising as well on Instagram. It is owned by Facebook, so it's the same sort of adverts. And you have a profile with a stream of all your images on. Like I was saying, it can be a business profile, but your profile does have all images on it, so you can't make a post without there being an image. Yes, it is very visual.
Yeah, so it's all image based, all video based. I mean,
video is fine.
There is a sort of limit on it, but they let you know if you go upload a video and it's too long.
Yeah.
But they will tell you.
Yeah. So we use Instagram mainly for inspirational images, or like examples for courses and stuff. So all the images that we post on our Instagram are based on techniques that we use in our digital sessions. So they're kind of ways that you could think, oh, maybe I could do that, or you know, that kind of thing. It has a style and an aesthetic that all of our posts focus on, so we have a colour scheme. You might want to think about having a colour scheme or using a certain kind of filter throughout, just to keep your posts all having the same kind of feel, if you know what I mean. If they're wildly different, it can sometimes look a bit odd. Instagram does link back to our website and increases our brand awareness, so you know, it's really good if you're visual or creative in any way. There's tons and tons of other creatives on Instagram, so it's a really good way to be inspired and to connect with others who are interested in similar things. So here's a quick example of what our Instagram feed looks like if you're on desktop, that is. So you can see we've got a little description and a link to, I think on that one it says our blog, but I think we've updated it since then. And there's a list of posts there that all have a similar sort of colour scheme and stuff like that, and are made using sort of photo manipulation.
Yeah, I think majority of them are Photoshop as well, like directly.
Yeah, so they're things that people could create in our sessions.
But if you click on some of the hashtags that are on there as well, take you to more of the same, basically. That's the idea. The content's linked by the hashtags.
Yeah.
And if you make loads of good stuff, you'll end up featured on them. And definitely if you make anything in the next couple of weeks with us, we want it on the hashtag and we want it to be featured and stuff. We're gonna try our best to pull it all together and do a little sort of online exhibition type thing.
Yeah. So on that note, if you are making some digital artwork and stuff from our sessions or inspired by the things that you've learnt on our sessions, just
share away.
Yeah, share away. Tag us or use the hashtag or both, and we'll get to it, and we will definitely do our best to feature you and all of that stuff. And then everyone else can look at all of the great stuff that our other learners have made, which is really cool.
We're sick of looking at our work because, you know, we do it all the time and it's always like rubbish, so rather look at yours instead.
Definitely. Much better. Okay, other content. So we have a YouTube, obviously. You're watching us on our YouTube channel right now. And there's a quick snippet of some things on our YouTube channel. YouTube might not be relevant for you if you know, not everybody has one. Not everyone
needs one. If you're not doing any video content, you're not going to have a YouTube channel. It's completely unnecessary.
Yeah. So a couple of examples. Another thing that we've got here is we've got some case studies and stuff. If you've got the content, repurpose it, make it into something that's engaging and interesting. We've got a real focus on you know, brand identity and making things visually interesting. So instead of just writing a Word document, why not make it really visually interesting and engaging and stuff like that? So if you've got the content, do something really good with it. Okay, some tips on the different channels and stuff like that. So, tips for Twitter. Engage with others, join in the conversation. That's what Twitter is all about. If you're not doing that, you're not doing Twitter right. So, definitely just get involved. If you see something interesting, comment on it, retweet it, just get stuck in. Definitely retweet others, and follow other people. If it's relevant, follow others, and
look for stuff relevant to you and your interests. So Gary said he uses really for reading the news and stuff. Yeah. But if he's looking to put more stuff out there, follow stuff that is similar to what you're putting out.
Absolutely.
So if it's like things like artwork, you can follow accounts and people that are putting that artwork out there. That'll build up like a network.
Or I don't know, if you're in a band or you're a musician, you might want to follow promoters or venues or other bands that are similar. Stuff like that. Or if you're a community organisation, you might want to follow other communities in your area. You might want to follow some potential funders, stuff like that. So follow relevant people, and you'll start seeing other relevant content for you, and it'll be easier for you to get involved with stuff that is actually relevant to you. Definitely use hashtags on Twitter. If there's a hashtag for it, use it. It'll help a lot. Check what's trending. Is there something relevant that you can say or take part in? Like we've said before, if there's an International Day of whatever that is relevant to you, get involved. Create your own hashtag. we've got one. Clearly all the best people do.
Yeah.
But if you've got your own, then it can be used by you as well as others who are engaging with your business or your organisation or your brand or whatever. So it's a really good way to get conversations going and for to build a bit of an online community on Twitter, and for those discussions to happen in one place that's easy to find and to get involved with. Join in with #FollowFriday. If you follow other people, they might just follow you back. And if you can, pop a link to your Twitter page in your email signature and on your website. If it's got the place to do it, then why not? If you want to direct people to it, just find anywhere that you can that is going to be seen by other people, basically just to let them know that you do have one. Tips for Facebook. Okay, so use insights to measure how well your posts are doing and to check what times your followers are online. So that's a really big one. So you can check when your followers are mainly online. So often for us, I think it sort of
varies a little bit, doesn't it?
It does vary, but it tells you sort of on each day of the week, basically.
Yeah.
So you might find that on a Tuesday it's different to on a Saturday because people have different routines.
Yeah, and obviously through the week, likelihood is people are at work or busy.
Yeah.
So there's certain times that they'll be checking the phones.
So it might spike at lunchtime.
Yeah. Or tea time.
Tea time.
Or first thing in the morning can be another one as well.
Yeah.
But again, this depends on who it is.
Exactly, on your target audience.
And like you mentioned before, your target audience might not necessarily be in this country or time zone.
Exactly. But you can check these things, and it's all in your insights.
And it's free to do as well. Like it used to be, you'd have to pay some third party to do it for you. Now Facebook it's all built in. Basically, it's just knowing where to look for it.
Yep.
And what you're looking at.
Yeah.
There's a few graphs and percentages, and you're crunching the numbers and that. But it's once you get the hang of it, it actually is pretty straightforward when you know what to check.
Yep. So use the data that you take from measurement to test things. So if you're trying out a new strategy, see how your posts were doing before and then after. So if you're already posting on a lunchtime, maybe you want to change it and see how it does on an evening instead. So post the same sorts of things on a lunchtime for a bit and then post the same sorts of things again on an evening so you can compare which ones have done better. But like I was saying earlier, if you're changing too many things at once, then you won't know whether it's the time or the kind of content that you're putting out that is making the difference. So just change one thing at a time, and it might take you a little while to work out what the best strategy is, and that's totally normal and okay. So don't worry, it's not going to just happen overnight, and you can't decide, oh, that's definitely working better from just one post. So you'll need to test things for a little bit to find out. Early engagement also helps. So what this basically means is get everybody to like it and share it straight away, because Facebook then thinks it's a really exciting and interesting post, and so it
which it will be, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys are going to be creating engaging content and stuff. I have no doubt.
Absolutely. But if, say, for example, if Media Savvy posted something and everybody who is an admin then used their own personal profiles or work profiles to like it and share it, Facebook's more likely to think, people are really interested in this, I'm going to put it higher on people's timelines and stuff like that. So it's more likely to do well, basically. Engage with others, like and comment on other relevant content. That's kind of the point. It's a social network.
Yeah.
Talk to people. If you're using it honestly and without just sort of full on doing a hard sell all the time, if you're genuinely just interacting with people and being nice to people and being interested in your community, people are likely to start noticing you and getting involved with the things that you're putting out as well. Joining relevant groups might be a good idea. So I don't know, if you, like I was saying, if you're in a band, you might want to post in some groups that are specific to your genre or something like that, and say, have you checked this out, or does anyone know if there are any good gigs coming up, things like that. That might be relevant. Or equally, if you're an artist, you might want to post in some art groups or some tutorial groups. If you've got some events coming up, you could look for a group for events in your area.
Yeah, it could even just be local. It doesn't necessarily have to be the industry or the activity. Could be just the local area. Could be quite a good one to tap into.
But they can be really good and really useful depending on what kind of content and whatever your project is. Use image and video as much as possible, and try and post at least an image with the majority of your posts. Something in the algorithm says this is more engaging, but it makes sense really if you think about it yourself. If somebody posts a cool photo of a dog and then somebody writes a 300-word post about a dog, what do you actually want to see the most? It's the photo of the dog.
Describing how cute the dog is and what it looks like when it goes for a walk and that. Or just a video of it going for a walk might be a little bit easier.
Yeah, so it makes sense, but that's kind of how it goes.
And usually if you have a smartphone nowadays, you can sort of record or take or capture an image or a video that's good enough quality to go on social media.
Yeah, definitely.
So you shouldn't struggle kit wise.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it, you want landscape video only. We don't want any portrait video.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I will say.
Top tips from Haytham.
Top tips. Always landscape, never portrait.
So speaking of videos, instead of linking to YouTube videos, uploading your videos straight into your posts is usually better for the algorithm on Facebook. This does depend, of course. I mean, if you're trying to send people to your YouTube channel, don't do that. If the whole point of you posting on Facebook is to get people to go to your YouTube channel, definitely keep posting links to your YouTube channel. But if you just want people to see your video, having them posted directly to Facebook is better, because Facebook wants you to stay within Facebook. It doesn't want to send people away from Facebook to other websites like YouTube. It doesn't own YouTube. It doesn't.
Yes. Probably not ever.
It doesn't want YouTube to have your attention. It wants Facebook to keep your attention. So if you're posting a video that's directly uploaded to Facebook, it's more likely to favour that compared to a YouTube link.
And you can see in your analytics dashboard again what type of content is more engaging to users. So is it video? Is it links? Is it images? It's very unlikely it'll be text. Your text-based ones are probably going to perform worse. But again, you can see it gives you a very, very clear bar chart of what is being engaging and what hasn't.
Yeah. Sharing other relative content is fine. Just make sure it is actually relevant. So you don't have to write your own content all the time. You don't have to kill yourself trying to putting out super intense posts all of the time. If you just find an article or something that's really useful or really interesting and you want to share it, that's also fine. Don't worry about it not being sort of involved and written by you all of the time. That's totally okay. And it can be really good as well, if it's particularly some of your learner work or your service users like stuff, or if somebody asked a really interesting question, or if I don't know, just anything like that really. If it's relevant and it's interesting and you think that your followers are going to want to see it too, then definitely go for it. And the same as with Twitter, if you can put a link to your Facebook page in your email signature or on your website, then that's great. It helps people to know that it is there. So some tips for Instagram. Make sure your images look professional. There's a lot of really high quality images on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have something on there that's below par, because it's just going to get lost. Make sure that it does look really great. Plan your content in advance to make sure all your images have the right style. If you have a colour scheme or something like that, then you can sort of plan that in advance. If all of your images are blue and then you've got one random orange one, then maybe it doesn't fit. Maybe you could make it a different colour yourself, stuff like that. Or I've seen other quite cool things where people, because obviously it's in grids of 3, if you know what I mean, on your kind of profile for Instagram. People have done quite clever things where they maybe have 2 images of a certain kind and then another one after that, so that they end up with 2 sort of vertical rows, if that makes sense, or columns rather, and one at the end that might look like something else, but it looks nice on their sort of profile when you're sort of scrolling through. So people do get quite clever with it. Don't post a huge variety of different types of images. Having one style is usually better. Like I said, think about using a colour palette. Maybe your brand colours might be cool. Don't use too many filters. Yeah.
Having your branding on there, some places do that as well, where they'll have like a almost, it's not quite a border, but they'll have the logo included in some of the posts in different places and stuff. Like you say, alongside using the same colours as the brand.
Yep, that's a great
just
idea.
If you can try not to be colourblind, like I am, that might help. Because I'm forever getting wrong, because that's not quite the right colour. Lisa Miller, if you're listening, rude to me. Yeah, so just be aware of your colours as well and make sure you're getting them right.
Yeah, yep. So yes, don't use too many filters or filters that are too weird. I don't know how.
Well, they change the colour a lot, don't they? They can change how you. If you have an image and you have it in a certain colour and you apply a filter, it's going to change what that colour is.
But you know, we also don't want
grey photos or just constantly grey.
Constantly grey or constantly like headache, migraine inducing, psychedelic.
Yeah, I mean, unless that's what
your
you're going
brand.
for. Yeah, you might be going for like a psychedelic. I don't know. You might be a psychedelic rock band.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, so just make sure that they're not getting too intense.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Just make sure your whole profile looks professional. You know, no spelling mistakes in your about section. That
spell check is your friend.
Yes. Engage with others, like, comment, and follow stuff. Instagram's really boring if you've got nothing that you followed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how Instagram
beige.
works.
Someone's saying beige.
Beige.
No, what we have? What's the
highlighting beige?
Yeah. What line are you taking on beige, Ella? Unless your branding's beige, no beige. Try and avoid it.
I would say avoid beige wherever possible.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. If you're anywhere near beige, just make it a real colour instead of beige.
There you go.
You know, like
throwing shade on beige. I'm expecting some angry letters, emails maybe.
If you've got beige branding,
send Ella a letter and tell her why you're angry.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Tell me why beige is great.
Let us know how we're wrong. So yeah, you know, you corporate colours can be quite nice, but it might be good to have something a little bit different as well. So nothing too, like you say, out there and gaudy, but you know, we've gone for pink, which isn't necessarily like a traditional corporate colour, is it?
No, but that's why.
No, that's what I'm saying. So you can make it a little bit different.
But for example, not all of the images on our stream are pink.
Yeah.
But they are harmonious.
Yeah.
The blue looks nice with the pink, for example. So just try and think about it. Use relevant hashtags. Help others find your images and helps you to find other things too. And then all of the other stuff, add in your page to your email signature and on your website. And you could consider having a photo stream from your Instagram on your website if it looks super nice. Stuff like that.
You can embed them in different places and stuff.
Yeah, and maybe consider connecting up your Instagram account with your Facebook page as well.
Possibly, yeah. Especially for the business ones.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's really useful having the sort of insight tools and stuff, but you can only look up the insights and things for Instagram if you are a business page. So definitely consider that.
And maybe think about the way around you're going to do it. So maybe start on Facebook and then go into Instagram, and then you've got both. You've got access to both.
Yeah.
Even if you start off quite slow and you're not posting super often, but you're posting relevant stuff and you're following relevant people, that's going to be better than not posting at all or posting loads and loads and loads all at once.
Yeah, definitely.
The end.
Of the presentation.
The end.
Does anybody have any questions or anything that you would like me to show you? We're just checking.
So Charlotte's just saying grammar and Ginger is very good for spell checking your text and stuff.
Excellent suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely worth looking into if you
can get things like Grammarly, which I think can do it. It does an add-on onto Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Obviously, Google Chrome by default has a spell check built into it as well, which is quite handy.
Yeah. So pay attention to it.
And have someone proofread it as well, maybe, just in case.
Especially, big things like your
Charlotte meant Grammarly. I thought you did.
Big things like your about section and stuff like that are going to be,
public facing.
I was literally about to say
Look at that, man. Great minds, isn't it?
Absolutely.
For now. The last 5 minutes of the stream. I mean, we streamed for 20 minutes and we weren't even live, so can't be that great.
No.
But, we got there in the end. So, yeah, I think if you guys have got any questions, like I say, I'll keep an eye on the chat again and we'll leave it on for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone hasn't completed the survey, I will copy that and send that in now. You might need to open it in an incognito tab. I can't spell the word previously, so I'm now making use of the inbuilt spell check software. Nice one. Because the title for this afternoon session if you want, yeah.
I don't know. You were saying the title for this afternoon session.
Oh yeah, so the title. Sorry, yeah, my bad. So the title. So the title of the session was just it's social media strategy, isn't it?
Yep, that's the one.
So Gary will try and sort that out with you. It'll send you a different link, hopefully, because he's already filled it in.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll get onto that.
Oh, Gary could try in a different browser.
Yeah, maybe a different browser. I think he's tried in an incognito window.
Didn't work.
It didn't work, so we'll see. So yeah, if you guys can have a go at filling that in, and we'll strive to email the link out to everyone who's been here. I know a couple of people said that had some. Obviously, we had some audio issues as well. I think it was just due to the internet dropping out for it was about 20 seconds at a time, but it was obviously affecting the audio a little bit. But we'll make the video available to you via email. So we've got a rough idea of who has been here anyway.
Yeah.
And if anyone who hasn't can complete that survey, we'll get your details.
Yeah.
And we will email out the presentation, as well as that can be an opportunity for you to ask any questions that we can then maybe look to cover.
Yep.
On another time.
I do have a tips and tricks sheet kind of thing, that resource kind of thing that might be useful to you as well. So if you would like that, just make sure that we've got your email address, and we'll get that to you.
And if you want, is it info at, isn't it? The
info at.
Yeah. Our generic email address.
Yes, it is.
So if you email this, I'll just put an email in the chat now. In fact, you want us to just give them yours?
Yeah, whichever. Don't mind.
I'll put Ella's email address in the chat. So this will be for any queries relating to social media. So that's today's sessions, yeah. So
yep.
I'll leave that as a link in there. And like I say, we'll leave the stream up for a little bit if you guys have got anything you want to type in now. If not, like I say, we'll be in touch with the video and maybe the help sheet of the day as well.
If there's anything that you want me to show you actually on any of the channels as well, feel free to let us know. If you want us to show you where the insights are or anything like that, what kind of things are available.
So Charlotte is quickly asking, how do you know your Instagram is connected to your Facebook?
How do you know? I'm gonna have to grab my phone.
So I believe
Let's have
it's been a little while since I've done this actually.
I know, because mine's already a business one anyway. If you don't have a business account anyway,
you can link your account, so it doesn't have to. You can still have your Facebook account linked in terms of anything you post on Instagram can automatically go onto your personal Facebook account. And you go to your profile and you go to the 3 bars on the top right, so there'll be 3 horizontal lines in the top right of that. You press on that and you go down to you go to settings, which is the top option, and it's in account and linked accounts, and I've got my Twitter and Facebook linked to mine. So there's a few ways to get to it, but we can probably send you something if you can't see it now. So you click on your profile and your profile will load, and in the top right there'll be 3 vertical bars. Click on that, click on settings, and then it's account, and there'll be an option for linked accounts, and then there'll be Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and a bunch of other stuff that I don't really know what it is. That one's just Chinese letters, and Daniel's not here to read it, so I don't know what that is.
Don't know.
But if you can give that a go, Charlotte, and if not, get in touch with us and we'll try and guide you through it.
The other thing that you can do, if you don't have like a business account already, so if you've got a personal page, if you know what I mean, you want to have a business account. I'm using Android, so I don't know if this is going to be the same for Apple users of the Instagram app. But if you go to edit profile, so you go to your profile first, then edit profile, then there should be an option that says switch to professional account, and you should be able to do that from there. I don't think it's particularly difficult. But if you do have any problems, just let us know, and I'll go through the steps with you. So if you need to email us about that, that's totally fine. Hopefully that helps a little bit. The other thing is that if you go to post something and you go through right to the end when you're posting stuff, so I'll just go as if I'm going to post something. So if I go next, and so after you've gotten through the bit with the filters on, there's a bit where it says also post to, and then if you've got certain things already added.
Yeah, so that's where mine are. I've got my Twitter and my Facebook connected, so I can post it directly to there.
So there's a little switch next to it, so you can toggle the little switch and it says also post to.
I think what we'll try and do with that is, if we're going to do like a demonstration of it, we'll get the software set up so that we can stream the phone screens as well.
Yeah.
Gary, thanks Gary, sent us a link to a Google support article.
Oh, great.
So we'll have a look at doing that as well.
Yeah.
That'll be for Android, but I'll have a look on what you can do it, because we've done it before when we've done iPad training and stuff. It's just well, that might be its own session, navigating like say the Instagram app and the Twitter app and the Facebook app as well. But I think, Charlotte, if you give some of those things a go, and if not, we can give you a bit of a hand, maybe over email or on Facebook chat or whatever. And like I say, we'll make sure this link gets out to you guys today, so you can sort of pause and go back through it and stuff.
Yeah.
There's bits you've missed. And like I said, we're gonna put the end screen on now, but we'll leave it live so the chat's still going. And just let us know if there's anything else.
Yep.
Cool. So once again, cheers guys. And we'll speak to you soon, hopefully, and take care, stay safe and all that.
Yeah. Next stream will be,
I think it might be Monday, but I'm not sure.
Monday.
Keep an eye on Facebook.
Yeah, keep an eye on
because it'll be all on there.
Yep, and I think that will be another photo P session.
Digital imaging again, I think.
Yep. So if you're interested in that, just keep an eye on our Facebook page, and or if you want the link or whatever, and you know that you definitely want to join in, just let us know, and
get in touch if there's anything that you think, oh, I wouldn't mind doing that, just to see if we can do it.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we're open to feedback and ideas around what you guys want to do as well.
Yeah, definitely do that. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Right, guys, take care.
Bye then.
Bye then.